our Toastmaster.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters, and Mark Skyping in from a distant land. So tonight we have three major parts of the meeting. The first part consists of the prepared speeches, which I believe we're going to have one speech tonight, which is going to be given by Maurice. The title of his speech is Goal Setting. The next segment of our meeting this evening will consist of table topics. And our table topics master tonight is Mark DeVoe. And the third part of our meeting this evening will consist of the evaluation session. So basically the evaluation session allows us to have the general evaluator come up and assess how everyone did during the speech. During the meeting this evening. So the first thing I'd like to do before we get into the Maurice's speech is to go through the functional roles for the meeting tonight. So I'm just going to go around and announce each person's role that they're doing, and if you can say where you're at and give us a small bit of information about your role. So first up, I have Julius Armstrong as the timer.
My role as a timer is to time the speeches, make sure that they're within the time limits, and to report on time for table topics and evaluations.
Okay, thank you, Julius. And the next roles we have are the grammarian and the eye counter, which is JR. So JR, if you can give us a little blurb about those two roles.
All right, fellow Toastmasters, my role as odd counter is to catch any odds, ums, or filler words used by you all and point them out to you for improvement. And as grammarian, it's my job to identify any core grammar being used during the meeting, as well as highlight any particularly effective uses of grammar.
Okay.
The word again, please.
The word
Christine.
Oh,
Do you have?
Christine. The word they say is pristine, which means pure or unaffected or
Okay.
pristine. Like if you, for example, the lakes in North Alabama are clean and pristine, untouched by humanity.
I think that's a definition of factoid.
Okay. Thank you, JR. And not the final, but the final role so far is the general evaluator, which is Luke Green. So if you can give us some information about that role.
The general evaluator basically evaluates the meeting in general from start to finish. And I'll be doing this with the help of my evaluation team, calling on them for reports. So I'll be calling on the evaluators, the odd counter, the grammarian, and the timer to help in the overall evaluation of the meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Luke. And I believe everybody knows what table topics are, but Mark, if you have anything you would like to add for being the table topics master tonight?
Yes, I'd just like to say that my job as a table topic master is to turn your pristine shirts stained with sweatshirts.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. I think everybody's looking forward to that now.
Oh, gotta go.
Okay.
We did this, they're all
Well,
questions.
no need to prolong the meeting. So if we can have our first and only speaker come up tonight, which is Maurice. So, Maurice, come on. Can you evaluate Maurice? How are you doing?
Julius.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Evaluating it. Okay.
Fellow Toastmasters, I am here tonight to present a speech about goal setting. Each one of us, at one time or another, in the midst of our everyday lives, has something new that we want to achieve. Something that we may have been dreaming of or envisioning for years. That goal may be personal or related to business. there's a simple process one can use to get started with achieving a goal. Whether that goal is to obtain a college degree, to learn another language, play a musical instrument, to acquire a tangible good such as a new car, or travel to another country. The process of meeting or attaining a goal takes at least some amount of preparation, irrespective of the complexity of that goal. That preparation can be physical, mental, psychological, or financial, or any combination thereof. Again, depending upon the complexity of that goal that one desires to achieve, a written plan should be created and the proper research should be performed. The process of goal setting is composed of a few principles that one can use to structure a game plan. Number one, the goal should be specific. Example, I want to learn to speak Spanish, as opposed to I want to learn another language. Two, the goal should be realistic in accordance to your time, your energy, and your resources. Three, the goal should be attainable for you, being able to commit and maintain each step of the goal in your memory. Four, the goal should be measurable, being able to specifically see results of each step. And five, it should be trackable, being able to relate each step with the final desired result. The above principles should be kept in mind while one is planning and pursuing his or her goal. If the pursuit of your goal involves more than one person, then you need to properly coordinate each step of that goal with all those involved. Where multiple people are involved, you don't want to get into a situation where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and you're left with a sheepish grin on your face. If the pursuit of your goal involves large sums of money, then you want to be sure that you are financially prepared to complete the goal, not just being able to start and getting to a quarter of the way through or halfway through the goal. If that is the case, you may fail and get your backside handed to you. One example of a goal that a person can pursue, applying the principles outlined in this speech, is obtaining an online college degree. A person has to know that such a goal is specific, knowing what curriculum you want to pursue. It has to be realistic, having fulfilled the academic prerequisites, having the finances set aside, having the study and assignment time set aside, and being able to meet deadlines for each assignment, and for completing the entire curriculum. Has to be attainable, being able to maintain this routine for the amount of semesters required to complete the curriculum. And it has to be measurable and trackable. achieving the grades to pass each course and maintaining the GPA required to graduate. Another example of a goal that a person can pursue, applying the principles outlined in the speech, is obtaining and restoring an old classic car. Again, using the outlined principles, it needs to be specific, knowing the year, make, and model of the classic car that you want to restore, has to be realistic, having the proper finances, tools, parts or part sources, and a step-by-step plan of disassembly and reassembly. Has to be attainable, having acquired the proper skills to accomplish this task, and has to be measurable and trackable, being able to keep track of the restoration process from start to finish. So that's another example of a goal, which is to restore an old classic car to pristine condition. In conclusion, envisioning, planning, pursuing, and meeting a goal does not have to be a daunting task. If the principles outlined in this speech are followed, then one's road to the goal can be quite a bit easier. The goal, once again, needs to be specific, realistic, attainable, measurable, and trackable. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Maurice. Maurice, that was a very good speech. I thought it's very appropriate for, especially this being a new year. So I think I can use some of your 5 elements of goal settings and apply them to my current life. So the next part of our meeting this evening is going to be table topics from Mark. So Mark, I'm going to turn it over to you for table topics.
So I take it JR's not giving the speech tonight?
Yes, sir. I'm not.
Okay. All right, we'll change it around so I don't have you down as getting credit for a speech tonight. We'll schedule you for a future meeting. All right, table topics tonight has a theme of resolutions. So what I would like to do is I'm going to ask the question first, then ask for volunteers, and if I don't get a volunteer, I'll assign a volunteer. So, the first question is, what is the most unusual resolution that you have ever made? Any volunteers?
I can make that.
All right.
Yeah.
Fellow Toastmasters, growing up, I was very much the quintessential nerd. I didn't go outside much. I was in pretty awful condition. I just read a lot and played a lot of video games. So it was a very strange resolution for me to decide to do a triathlon at about the age of 15. I remember I'd been running a little bit up to that point, nothing very far, very fast. But I decided that I wanted to do something a little more extreme and push myself. So I started training for it. I found one called the Beach Bum Triathlon, which takes place entirely on the beach around Hilton Head. Or should I say the pristine beaches around Hilton Head. When I got there that morning, it was extremely daunting. Triathletes are some of the most fit-looking people you'll ever see. They are thin, they're muscular. Some of them look like Holocaust survivors. They're so skinny. And they have beautiful bikes and $100 gear they bring to the beach to just destroy that race. I had my swim trunks on and my raggedy white t-shirt, but I got in the water and started the race, and I finished it. And I kept doing triathlons. I got a lot of awards primarily because no one my age did triathlons, so I'd be second out of 2. or 3 out of 3, and I get an award for that, which is a nice ego boost.
Right.
Should that be read, Julius?
Oh, okay. No, it should be.
It should be
Oh,
green.
Okay.
I thought it reads that one.
Right, right.
Okay.
Change it on Maurice's.
Okay, awesome. So that is how I made that strange resolution and started doing triathlons. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. What's the shortest duration that you've ever kept a resolution?
Did you repeat that question again?
What resolution has the shortest duration for being kept?
I'll take that one.
All right.
All right, good evening, fellow Toastmaster members. I guess the shortest duration that a resolution was ever kept was I decided to, well, let me give you a little prelude real quick. So a couple of my speeches I've done on nutrition or juicing or something like that. Well, I decided that I was going to do a 10-day juice. So I was just going to drink vegetable juice for 10 days straight to just do a nice detox, cleanse, everything. And it's kind of a funny story. My girlfriend wanted to do it with me, and I was in Louisiana with her, and it was day 2, and we were pretty miserable. I think it was day 3. We were partway through day 3, and we were both sitting in church and at night, and our stomachs were growling so loud, and we were tired, our heads hurt, we were miserable, we just wanted to eat. We just looked at each other and we said, all right, that's it. And so we just we ended up leaving and going to get some real food, but I give it out to those guys who do those long juice fasts, because I definitely can't do it.
Thank you. What's the longest duration that you've ever kept a resolution for? The longest? All right.
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, the longest resolution that I have ever kept is my resolution not to make resolutions. This was probably 30 years ago. I decided that New Year's resolutions never worked, so why should I do a New Year's resolution? So what I do instead of doing resolutions is I try to do goals on a regular basis. Or I have ideas that I want to put into effect on a regular basis. To me, New Year's Day is just like any other day, so every day is New Year, a new day, so why not have new ideas and new goals and new hopes and dreams on a daily basis. So, I think that definitely the best resolution I ever made was the resolution that I would not make any more resolutions. Mr. Topic.
Excellent. Excellent. Difficult resolution that you've ever made. Joyous, what's the most difficult resolution?
Right. So Toastmasters, Mr. Topic Master, the most difficult resolution that I've ever made is to eat better on a consistent basis. You know, in the beginning it's pretty simple. You know, you start, I'm fired up, I'm motivated, I'm going to do this. And, you know, you do it for a little while, just like Luke said. In the beginning it's pretty simple, but at the day-to-day grind of life, and things happen, you get sidetracked off of your goals. So being consistent is something that I've had some difficulty with a lot of my goals. But I continue to work on my goals. And the thing about New Year's It is a new opportunity to start again. And that's one thing about New Year's is it's an opportunity to begin again, give you a fresh start over again, forget about what has happened in the past, and press forward with a new determination, a pristine beginning. And that's what I like about New Year's. I was born on New Year's, so I guess, being born on New Year's is great. Every year I get a new start, and I'm always happy to be here because, wow, I made it again to another year. And I'm glad to see all you guys made it again, because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to say, hey, Happy New Year. So yes, being consistent is one of the things I've struggled with, but again, I get another opportunity to try it again. Mr. Toastmaster.
Happy.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
All right, who hasn't given a table topic? We'll do one. What's the best strategy for keeping resolutions?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master and fellow Toastmasters. The best strategy for, can you repeat the question for me again? Sorry.
What is the best strategy for keeping New Year's resolutions?
Okay, so the best strategy for keeping New Year's resolutions are, I'm going to reach into some information that I just received this evening, which is I'm going to take the 5 goals from Maurice's speech, and I'm going to say, in order to keep a resolution, you should make sure your goals are specific, make sure your goals are realistic, make sure your goals are trackable, make sure your goals are attainable, and the final one was to make sure your goals are measurable. So I believe using all 5 of those goal setting elements, you can have a successful strategy in maintaining your New Year's resolution. Thank you, Mr. Tabletop Master. Back to me now. Are you done?
I think we're done.
Okay.
No, you missed that one.
Oh, well, I'm not crying.
No, we